Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and to support each of you. Today, I want to bring your attention to your free website. We've provided each of you a link for a free replicated website, and it looks just like ours, like guaranteedfunding.org. There are a number of pages on the website, but let's talk a little bit about practical steps and how to help get a client engaged most effectively and most efficiently. So certainly, I would not recommend just sending out your link and hoping people will navigate through the site. You could do that, but instead, I think connecting with them and getting them to your free funding proposal is really where we want to start. Because the free funding proposal is a campaign developed to be easy for you and have a very high conversion. We should average over 90% of the individuals that inquire about a proposal end up enrolling. So let's talk about that a little bit more. So on the free funding proposal page, it's very simple. There's no videos, there's no drawn out explanations. Instead, there's a brief entry, which will go through introductory content, and then the form field for them to request a free funding proposal. So let's start with the top, read it together, and we can discuss any questions or concerns you have. So the question that it's asking, not you, but the prospect, is, are you not sure how to get funding that you need to start or grow a business? Well, then you should request a free funding proposal to see what you qualify for simply by completing the form below, which is very basic. Then we'll email you a simple and confidential one-page application via Adobe to complete. So that's the next step. Their first step would be to fill this out and hit the get a free funding proposal. So that's step one. We're letting them know after they've done that, step two will happen, which is where we're going to email them an application via Adobe. Then we let them know what happens after that. Well, once you do that, we'll have a funding advisor reach out to you to create a funding plan that meets your needs and timeline. All of our funding advisors are current or former business bankers, SBA, SBDC advisors, or SCORE mentors. So then we get to the bullets, the highlights of why someone would want to get a free funding proposal. I think they're very strong, but you can tell me what your thoughts, your feedback is. So first of all, we help them find out how much funding they qualify for right now. And then, of course, we can help them get from where they're at to a larger capital raise. But you and I know in most cases, people live in an environment where they want results right now, not a day from now, not a week from now, not a year from now. So we'll see what they qualify for now. And then certainly we can help them get from wherever they are now to where they need to be based upon their full capital raise. We explained that there are no minimum credit scores for a free funding proposal. Everyone will get at least one offer. Most people will get 10, 20 or more cash funding offers. Everyone will get at least one offer. But no minimum time, no minimum credit score, no minimum time in business. There's no upfront costs. There's no hard inquiries. They're in control. They pick the funding offers that they want. They decline those that they don't. And we have access to over 40 different lenders that are willing to review their application and make offers. And we have access to some unique business funding programs, including, for example, one of our preferred lenders will fund SBA loans next day. It's almost unheard of, but that's true. We have the Chapman Fund. So instead of going through a bank or a credit union, we're able to go through a taxing authority that sends out money to start and grow businesses. So without worrying too much about the details, the pitch that we recommend, or the campaign to make it sound more professional, is the free funding proposal. If you connect with prospects, however that you want to do it, whether you're posting on Craigslist or getting referrals from pastors or CPAs or bankers, however it is that you're generating leads, then what we would recommend is use the free funding proposal campaign. Now, on this form, you can see it's not asking for much, right? We need their name, their email, their phone number is mission critical. Go ahead and have them list you here. It should code to you anyway because they're using your link, but regardless, and if there's a message they want to provide, they can. It's not required. It's fine for you to put the prospect in. So if you want to make it even simpler for them, like we have Adam on the phone. He's a big hitter out of Nevada. Let's say that Adam had a prospect, and Adam's prospect is driving. And so Adam's prospect can't really go to his link, can't easily fill this out. We don't need Adam's prospect to fill this out. This is not a contract. It's not a commitment. It's just a lead capture form that allows us to go to the next step, which is to send them a simple and confidential application via Adobe. So what's my point? It's perfectly fine if you want to do the data entry for your prospects, but it's crucial. It's crucial that they know what's going to happen next. Otherwise, we'll have very low conversions. They need to know, and we'll just role play this out. We have Daphne on the line. So let's say Daphne is my prospect, and I've done some sort of marketing or outreach, or Daphne was referred to me some way, however that awareness was created, but now I'm talking to Daphne. And I'd say, hey, Daphne, my name's Tom. It's my understanding that you're looking to get some funding offers to start or grow a business. Is that correct? And she's going to say yes or no. And if she says no, I probably won't try to convince her. I can certainly let her know some of the highlights. But most likely, Daphne is responding to some sort of posting or outreach or referred to me. So that is the case, but I'd like her to say yes. So I would continue on with the script. Okay, great, Daphne. All I need to do is just get a couple pieces of information from you. And then our team's going to send over to you a one-page Adobe application. So in other words, an application via Adobe. It'll ask a little bit more information about your business, if applicable, and about you. And from that, we can get you some funding offers. What's great, Daphne, is that there's certainly no hard inquiries to get these offers. And of course, there's no upfront cost. We can get offers for everyone, regardless of credit or regardless of time in business. So Daphne, would you like to get some funding offers? And most likely she'll say yes. And then I would just need to put in her name, her email, her phone. I'd go ahead and put in my name here and then submit. So it's just that simple. But I need Daphne to know, I need my prospect to know that they need to be looking out for an Adobe that's going to come over to them, because without that Adobe, there are no funding offers. There's not enough information here for us to create funding offers for the prospect. But with the Adobe, there is. So who has questions about this campaign? It's designed to be very, very simple. And so, yes, if you want to drive people to your page and let them fill it out themselves, that's fine. Frankly, you could just do a posting and they could text you or email you their name, email, and phone. And then you could put it in. You want to make it as simple as possible for the prospect. But it's just crucial that once you have a lead, that you let them know, hey, be on the lookout. You're going to be within 24 hours, you're going to get an Adobe packet that has a one-page application. And once you fill that out, we can get your funding offers, because that's where the real data is collected. This is just a lead form, but you don't even have to have the people fill out this lead form. You could gather their information some other way. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't recommend just dropping in names, because that's not a good use. You should have connected with the prospect via text, phone, in-person, email, so they know this next step is coming. What we don't want is you just to go upload 1,000 names into this, which it'll process through. but it's really not good. We don't want anyone to be getting the one-page application for the funding offers if they're not expecting it. We don't want to spam people. We don't want to just blanket them unsolicited. There needs to have been a request for it. Now, the request could be simply you put an ad up on Craigslist, get free funding proposals, just reply back with your name, email, and phone, and we'll get you an Adobe application. No hard inquiries, and whatever, highlight you in a list. So you can collect the point is you can collect the prospect's information however you want, and then you could put it in here, or you could certainly have them put it in here. But regardless, we need to get the prospect's information, and then we will send them the one-page Adobe. All right, so Daphne's asking about other marketing material. So we've kept it incredibly simple. So for any of you that's looking for content to put on Craigslist or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you want to advertise, this is the content that you would use. This is it. Plus your call to action, right? So what is your call to action? Do you want them to text you their name, their email, their phone? Do you want them to come to your link? Do you want them to email it to you? It's up to you what you want that call to action to be, but the goal needs to be to get the prospect's name, email, and phone, and let them know that they're going to be getting a one-page application via Adobe that they need to complete. So you could just do, Daphne, you could just do some sort of outreach and then keep it real simple, right? Short and simple. And then when individuals respond, then you could go ahead and drop their information on this form on your page, and then just turn around and just remind them, hey, keep an eye out. You're going to be getting a simple and confidential one-page application via Adobe to complete. You want to let them know about this. We don't want to be known as someone that's spamming, that's sending out these Adobes unsolicited. That's not the intent at all. All right, so Adam's asking about comp. So if compensation. So as a small business consultant, if you follow this approach, you're going to make 3 points off the client's capital raise. And so we know each client is guaranteed a minimum of $100,000. And of that 100,000, of course, you're getting 3 points, which is 3,000. I was in court yesterday with a client that she enrolled and she stopped participating. And so her counsel was there, and I represent us. And so I had her up on the witness stand, and it was a rough discussion because she came off with really some unrealistic expectations that the referral source allegedly had made to her. And so we want to make sure that what we say is accurate, what we say that we'll do. And of course, we want to have our agreement in writing. And so what will happen, again, is you can get the prospect however you want, legally and ethically, of course, get them into this form, either by them filling it out or you filling it out for them. We'll send over the app, and then you'll get paid 3% of their capital raise, minimum of 100,000. Now, this lady that quit, she still got 22,803, but she felt that she should have got 200,000 instantly. And that's not what we promised, right? We promised to work with clients to raise at least 100,000. We promised that, and we do that in writing. But it's not to suggest that their first tranche or their first round will be 100 or 200,000. It might be, but we don't know. We've got to go get them some funding offers. So we don't want to oversell. We want to just simply describe however you're going to post it, Daphne and others. This is what we do. We'll get you offers. You can select those that you want. You can decline those that you don't. And we certainly can work with you and will work with you to raise at least $100,000. But that should not be misinterpreted to say, oh, just sign up and instantly you're going to get 100,000. They may, but they may not. We don't know, right? You don't know. I don't know. They don't know. We need to start with a free funding proposal. So you notice on this page, we don't even talk about the $100,000 guarantee. Now, as we get over to the home page of our website, as well as yours, this is where the Access to Capital program is. So most people that come through the free funding proposal will end up enrolling in the Access to Capital, which is great. So the Access to Capital does guarantee $100,000. And there is no upfront cost and all the other benefits you're probably familiar with. So in many cases, I would say even most cases, people that come through the free funding proposal will end up enrolling in the Access to Capital. But it makes it simple for you, right? As a referral partner, you don't have to explain a lot of things, because a lot of you are busy, and I know you're successful, but we want to make it so simple for you that you'd almost have to try to fail. So instead of worrying about all the details of the Access to Capital and answering questions about the 3 C's and all of that, just keep it simple. Just simply ask people if they'd like a free funding proposal, and either have them or on their behalf submit in their name, their email, and their phone. And again, just make sure that they know that then they'll be getting an Adobe application to complete. And that's what's going to allow us to get them their funding offers. If they ask you questions like, well, what's the interest rate going to be? The answer would be, I don't know. I mean, we need to get your app filled out so we can get you some free funding offers, and you can pick the ones you want and turn down those that you don't. Well, how big are the payments going to be? Again, I don't know. We need to get you a free funding proposal. We'll get you the offers. You pick the ones you want. You decline those that you don't. So if you follow this approach, it pretty much alleviates pretty much any objection they could ask, because we're getting them funding offers and they can accept them or not accept them. All right, so let's see what other questions we have this morning. Yeah, so again, just closing out Adam's question. So by feeding into the free funding proposal, each of you will make 3 points off the capital raise if you're a small business consultant. If you're a state director, you'll make an override of 1 point, which would be at least 1,000, because each client's going to get at least 100,000, maybe not in their first tranche. We clarified that, but they're going to get at least 100,000, and you'll get 1 point of that. So if they get 200,000, then the state director gets 2,000 and their consultant gets 6,000. We're still looking for more state directors. State directors are kind of the team builders. They are developing a team of small business consultants in their state. Our goal is to have 1 small business consultant per zip code per state. So that's not a mandate, but that's the goal. All right, so who else has questions on this simple campaign? If you keep it simple, it should work really well for you. Some of you are very, very smart, very analytical, and sometimes some of you just overcomplicate it. We've tried to simplify this. Forgive me for saying this. We've dumbed it down so much, not because you're dumb, but just because we need a simple process. It's simple to explain to the prospect, and it's simple for you to learn. Well, what do you need to know? You need to have your link, and if you don't have a link, you can go over to the careers page, and you can become a small business consultant. You need training on what we're talking about. There's actually 3 parts of training right here for the world to see. It's not password protected. You could not be a consultant and still go through the training. But we do the introduction to the free funding proposal. We teach the process, and then we have success stories. So if you've not gone through those 3, I definitely recommend it. But you should have a link. Once you become a small business consultant, we give you a link for your free landing page. And then, these same pages are on it. It's a replicated site. And all that you need to worry about is helping people get free funding proposals. And it's marvelous. Some of you are reaching out to accountants, to pastors, I have one MCA broker that is sending us all of his MCA declines. So we don't do merchant cash advances, so don't get concerned about that. But he does, which is fine. And he has people that get declined. He's referring his declines, and we have almost 100% participation. So the key in getting massive volume is massive lead flow. And the way to get massive lead flow, one of the ways to get massive lead flow without question, is to get referrals from others. Now, you got to make it worth their while. Maybe of your 3 points, you give them 1 point to just give you names, numbers, and emails, right? And then you just reach out to them briefly. And again, you don't even have to talk to the prospect. So I'm not setting that as a requirement, but we definitely want them to know what we definitely want them to be wanting a free funding proposal. And we don't want to spam this out to everyone. They need to desire it. And that's why we have the introductory question. And then they need to know what happens next. They're going to get a simple 1-page app. After that, we'll take care of it from then on out. You can just sit back and get paid. All right, Daphne says she never received information for the state director yet. So if anyone's interested in being a state director, just go ahead and email us, support@guaranteedfunding.org, and we can send over the state director agreement. It is simple, it's easy, it's 1 page, doesn't cost anything to be a state director. There's no minimum production requirements. There's no strings attached. You do need to be a small business consultant to be a state director, because, and also I should say, you can also fill out this page here, and Daphne let us know that you want to be a state director. But this does a brief description of the consultant role, and then here's a brief description of the state director role. Our goal, we haven't done it yet, quite frankly, but hopefully maybe by even August, to start pulling all the state directors together. There's been talk about a few different cities, San Diego or what have you, but we would fly all the state directors in and network and train, but we don't have that scheduled yet. We're still putting together the state directors, but there'll be some fun networking and free trips involved. All right, so Sarah's asking, well, how do state directors develop small business consultants? Well, that's a fair question. State directors can technically add consultants anywhere in the country, but the focus is for them to add consultants in their state that they're assigned to. And frankly, it's as simple as explaining this to prospective consultants. And I'd recommend literally having them go through the training before they sign up. Because if you have a prospective consultant and they'll commit, what's it going to take? About an hour to go through those 3 lessons cumulatively. If they'll spend an hour, you know that they're willing to put some time into it, which is important. And they'll know exactly what we do. And they could come back to you and say, well, Daphne, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to make $3,000 per referral. I don't want to have to do any sales. I don't want to have any upfront cost. So that's what I would do. I'd be very transparent. I would post, I'd advertise, however you want to generate small business consultant leads. Again, this is for if you're a state director. And I'd get them over to this page and have them watch these 3 training videos. So that way they know what they're doing before they sign up. What we don't want, what we'd prefer not to have, are people that sign up as small business consultants and then afterwards are like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. Well, and then we've wasted time and energy and effort and training. But this simple 3-part training helps them understand the story. All right, anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? Our primary goal today is just to have this simple discussion about this simple process that we refer to as the free funding proposal campaign. It's the primary funnel builder. This, in my opinion, should be the primary way that you're going out to the market and feeding in prospects. All you need from them is what? Their name, their email, and their phone number. And they need to know that they're going to be receiving an application via Adobe afterwards to complete. That second part's so crucial. Questions, comments, concerns, and we've got some of our big hitters on today. So does anyone have any questions, comments, anything you'd want to add? Tony Stevenson, good morning. I believe you're in South Carolina. Anything you want to add, Tony? Lon, Patricia, Holly, anyone have anything that they want to add or have questions on that we can address? It's super simple. If you've not gone through it yourself, you can of course do that, right? Go to your link, go to the free funding proposal page, and what would you do? Put in your name, put in your email, put in your phone. Every once in a while, I have a new consultant that says, well, can I go through this myself? Well, sure you can. You're not required to, but sure you can. And I'd say, well, do you know how to do it? No. Well, that's my fault, right? I failed to train that person, because what I should be doing is getting each consultant to commit at least to going through these 3 trainings. Frankly, if they go through these 3 trainings and they never join us for any of these Zoom morning meetings, they never listen to the recordings, it'd be okay if they simply would commit about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes to go through those 3 modules. They'll be set up, they'll be open for business, and they'll make good money, really good money. Adam says he's got a telemarketing employee starting today, and that's great. Yes, some of you are building an infrastructure, an organization. Some of you have contracted with call centers, and I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's a numbers game, right? We need to connect with well, let me rephrase it. The more prospective participants we connect with, the more that will want a free funding proposal and fill out, well, you can fill out, but the more that enter the funnel, the more enrollments we'll have and the more money that you'll make. And so you could put time or energy into it or have others do it for you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Crazy simple. If you've not gone through it yourself, you're welcome to do so, not required to do it, but that might be the best way for you to actually walk through. But again, for full transparency, they fill this out, we send them the Adobe, we get them funding offers, and then almost always they're going to go into the access to capital. The access to capital is a very easy conversion for us, right? Because they have no upfront cost, has guaranteed capital raise, no minimum credit score. And so here we're actually working with them to build their loan package, to build their business plan, to build their financials. We're doing all that work. You don't have to do any of that. And that's how we're able to guarantee the 100,000. I'll close with this. So when I was in trial yesterday, the defendant is a lady that had signed up and then quit. And so she had an attorney there. And so the attorney, attorneys are good at what they do often, and so tried to turn this around a little bit. Well, she didn't get $100,000 in 2 weeks. Well, no, we'd never say that someone will get $100,000 in 2 weeks. We're going to get them their first tranche right away, right? That's what the free funding proposal does. We're going to find out how much they qualify for now, and then we can work with them through the access to capital to get credible enough. I mean, it's only, and I said this under oath, to the opposing counsel. I said, you're either financially illiterate or you're malicious, because no logical person would think that, bam, I sign up and I instantly qualify for 100,000 just because I signed up. Now, some people do qualify for that right away, but many don't, most don't. And we're not promising that. What we're saying is, hey, we'll get you funding offers for what you qualify for now. I don't know how much it'll be. We need to get your application in and see what offers you have. You pick the ones you want, you decline those that you don't. And then if you want, we can work with you to get you from where you're at to get you at least 100,000. Often that's about a 30-day process. We allocate normally the first week to build out the business plan, the second week to build out their financials, the third week we're building out their business credit. We have a very structured and successful approach to this, but we'll do all that work. So my encouragement is, don't do too much talking. Probably, and this may be offensive, and I apologize in advance, but in general, the more you talk to your prospect, the fewer people that will enroll. That's pretty much a fact, because all you need to do is pitch, or if you want, introduce the campaign for the free funding proposal. Bring them into the funnel using this. Let us take care of everything else. You still get paid. All right, Pauline's asking what the support email is. So it's support, SUPPORT, at guaranteedfunding.org, right? Support at guaranteedfunding.org. All right, well, hopefully this was helpful simplifying it. Just don't overcomplicate it. I strongly encourage whatever campaigns, outreach, referral partners you're developing, use the free funding proposal campaign and good things will happen. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow. Have a good day.